You're back with your girls, Meesa and Meah from you already know. It's M&M Live Radio. And as you guys know, it's March motivation here on the show. And along with giving you that extra motivation you need, we're also going to be talking with some of the dopest women we know all month long. And we have this week's special guest on the airways with us right here, right now.
That's right, Meesa. This gifted individual is on a mission to impact a young generation. From speaking worldwide to her impeccable artistry, it's without a doubt that she is a force to be reckoned with. We want to welcome national recording artist Maddie Rey to the show. What's going on, Maddie?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on here.
Listen, we're so excited. Listen, welcome to M&M Live Radio.
Yes.
We're so happy to have you hanging out with us this week on M&M Live Radio.
I love it. You guys are amazing.
Now, listen, speaking of amazing, we got to talk about you. Now, for those who aren't familiar, just talk about who you are. Who is Maddie Rey?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm Maddie Rey. I am 21 years old. I am a Christian recording artist and youth speaker, and I travel around the nation just really ministering to young people through my music and through the message of dwell that God has given me to reach this young generation, encouraging them to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of their life. And so I love being able to tell young people not just what they should do, but really giving them the resources to walk it out. And so I do that through the book that I just wrote last year called Dwell. I do that through my YouTube channel, my podcast, obviously through my music, through social media, and all of those different avenues. And so I just really have a heart to reach this young generation, for them to really be confident and bold in who God has created them to be. And so I sing, dance, rap, perform, speak, preach, all of those different things, but it's all to really just make an impact and empower today's young generation.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, no one can give your bio, your description
Yes,
better
ma'am.
than you. So listen, guys, so we met Maddie at Stephen Malcolm's tag team tour last year. And listen, she was amazing, right,
yes.
Meesa? Like, she was so electric and has this great energy about her on and off stage. But I want to talk about how you got started into music. When and how did you get your start in this music business?
Yeah, so, I always tell people I was never, music probably was never really my dream or something that I was thinking that I was going to go into. I grew up, I'm a pastor's kid, and my parents founded our ministry over 23 years ago. And my dad really had a heart to reach young people. And there was at one point, we were known as the third largest ministry to young people in the nation. And so we did a lot of things for young people. So through that, we would always have people come in and do concerts and rap and do things like that. And so I grew up in that environment. So when I was about 12 years old, I had my own kids TV show that aired locally in the Chicagoland area.
Wow.
And through that, I kind of started doing songs on there and little jingles and things like that. And then around 14 years old, I was a part of an all-girls rap group that still came out of our church and was really still for the young people that we were reaching. And probably then around 16 through 18 is when I started writing my own music. I started, creating my own performances and really started to become like this solo artist. However, our intention really wasn't for it to kind of be for everyone. It was really just for our church during those times because of the young people we were reaching. But around 18, that's when probably more industry people started to approach me and all of that, and wanted to, hear my music and, labels and radio and all of those different things, people that, deal with promotion and all of that. And probably since 18, that's when we've really been on this path of just really allowing my music to go to the nation and to the world. And so that kind of started our journey of me becoming a solo artist, doing kind of Christian pop music. And so today, we've had some wonderful opportunities to collaborate with a lot of different people, to connect with a lot of different people. And my music has definitely gone further than we ever thought it was going to go.
It's so crazy because by you being only 21, you already lived such an amazing life.
You had a TV show. You were in a rap group. You that's like the ultimate start right
Yes.
there.
Now, Meah,
yeah.
I want to bring it back to the stage really quick because, and I think you can attest to this. Maddie Rey's stage presence is insane. Absolutely insane. Now, Maddie, did you always have such a fiery energy when it comes to just performing in front of people?
I definitely grew up having, definitely a charisma about me. I get that a lot from my dad. He's very charismatic, very larger than life. I mean, he was one of America's biggest children's pastor, and
Yeah.
so I really got that animation from him. But definitely when I was a part of the all-girls rap group, that's really when I started to see that I love to perform. I love Jesus. I'm very passionate about the things of God. I can just tell you all day about how on fire I am about Jesus. And I love that I could express that through performance and get other people excited about it through me singing, through me dancing, through me engaging the crowd. And to me, that was so exciting and such a cool thing that you could do. I mean, I could wear these cool outfits, I could make these cool songs and present the gospel of Jesus Christ. Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
And so I just love doing it. And I definitely worked very hard on my craft in that area, especially just as a Christian artist and knowing what the world has to offer, but knowing that the devil can't create anything. He can only pervert what God has created. And I love taking what God has given us, what God has originally designed and created, and saying, you know what? I'm going to do this in a spirit of excellence. I'm going to work on my craft. I'm going to be one of the best dancers. I'm going to try to be one of the best singers. I'm going to try to put on the best performance.
Yeah.
Not for me, but so that way God can get the glory. And I can know that I stewarded every single gift that he gave me. And hopefully through that, young people were empowered, reached, and they got excited about the things of God too.
And
That's
listen,
good.
you don't even have to say try,
Oh,
Maddie,
yeah.
because listen, you are definitely doing it. Listen, guys, your girls M&M are hanging out with national recording artist Maddie Rey. Now, Maddie is also a speaker as well, like she said. Now, what is it about speaking with young people particularly that sparked your interest and made you want to pursue that as a career along with music?
Yeah, well, like I've shared, that's always been in my heart and in the heart of our ministry. I'm still very a part of my parents' ministry. I'm the youth pastor there, and so I preach every single week to our young people. And I believe that there is a message that young people need to hear today. I think, they hear so many different voices. They hear so many different things. There's so many things being taught to them, so many different things that are influencing them right now. And I believe within a world full of deception today, they need truth. They need the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. They need the truth that they can stay in the church. With so many young people walking away from God, leaving the church, straying away from their faith, as we see it today, this young generation is walking away from God. I want to be someone that's going to stand and say, hey, I have something to tell you that could possibly encourage and empower you to stay in the place that God created you to be. We were created in his presence. We were meant to come into the faith and never leave. We were meant to dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of our life, and we can use our gifts and talents to glorify God. And I think because that's a message that God is really giving me of being a young person that grew up in church and not having the typical testimony at times of being a pastor's kid that left, wants nothing to do with God, rebelled, all of that.
Right.
That wasn't my story. I don't have that testimony. I do have the testimony of saying, I can't tell you what it's like to be in the world. I can't tell you what it's like to drink. I can't tell you what it's like to do drugs. Can't tell you what it's like to have sex. Can't tell you what it's like to party. I can't tell you that. That's not my testimony. Yet I believe that can be one of the greatest testimonies that young people can grow up having if they choose to dwell in the house of the Lord, and knowing that there's so much significance in that because that's where God created them to be. And I believe that's really a message that young people need to hear today.
Maddie, I love how passionate you are about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what's crazy is that I've always heard that what comes from the heart reaches the heart, and because you have such a fiery heart and such a passionate heart for God and for everything that you do, all the gifts he's given you, is able to transpire to young people from not only in your church but for people all over the world. And I feel like you're honestly like Superwoman because you do so much. Like,
right.
You're also an author, and along with being a speaker and an artist and an influencer, and having your own podcast and speaking every week. How do you juggle all of this? How do you balance all these roles in your career?
It's definitely a lot. I've been saying this lately. In the Bible, Paul talks about, I've become all things to all men that I might win some. And I really feel like that's something that I'm going to continue to live out of. I'll do anything and everything to reach young people. No matter what it might cost me, I will do anything. And I think, being 21, that is something that I'm having to learn to balance right now. I will say I have a wonderful support structure that really helps me. My parents are very, very involved in my ministry and really help me navigate everything that I'm doing and help give vision for the things I'm doing. My church really backs and supports me, and they're a great, just backing and support to what I do. And then really just understanding the personal relationship I have to have with the Lord. Something that I've preached before and always have to preach to myself is if I'm looking for rest, I can't always find that in my bed. I have to find that in His presence.
Oh, yes.
And that's something that I'm having to learn to live out every single day, so that way I can continue to do what I know God has called me to do. And so I'd say, every day it's something I have to walk out. It's nothing I've mastered. Having to stay organized, having to stay motivated, having to, as people would say, not get burnt out. I definitely don't feel close to that place at all, but knowing that any day, it can be a challenge, and every day can have new obstacle and you can face new things. I just always try to stay rooted in the places where I was planted. And so I try to stay rooted in my church, in my family, and definitely in God. And I believe that those things really help me.
And I love that. Now, really quick. Now, we've talked about Maddie Rey performances, Maddie Rey as a speaker. Now let's talk about some Maddie Rey music. So we know that you've been traveling a lot recently, and you've been in the studio. Now, Maddie, you got to tell us what you're cooking up.
Yes, I am definitely cooking up some stuff. We've been on a journey, with this music, kind of probably the beginning of last year. A lot of people saw me posting a lot, about Nashville and music and album and things coming out. And then kind of towards the end of the year, I started posting a lot more preaching and all of that. And I wasn't sure if people were kind of getting confused of, oh, is she just a preacher now? Is she still doing music?
Right.
And so I'm excited, for this year, because I believe it's all going to come together. Everything that God has put in me to do, I believe it's all just going to overflow this year. And so, yes, music is definitely a part of that. We are planning to release a lot this year. I can't tell you whether it's an album or not, but definitely a lot of music is coming out. How it's going to come out, that's still being determined. But a lot of music. I'm very versatile within the music that I do, whether it's pop, hip hop, rock, worship, whatever. You can expect almost all of it this year. That all of it's going to come out, and it's going to all be with a message to this young generation. Really just music that'll empower you, that'll get you going. You've seen my performances, so it's going to be music you can dance to, music you can jump to, music you can turn up to. And so it's going to be really fun, and I'm really excited because I love just being creative within that space of music. And definitely cultivating a performance with it, definitely cultivating a wardrobe that goes with it. I'll be doing a lot of tours this year, and so I'm the end of March, I'll be heading out to the West Coast for the very first time, doing some shows in LA and preaching and performing out there. Then I'm going to hit the Southwest, then after that the Midwest, and then later on the East Coast. And so we've kind of got it all mapped out for this year. I'm still booking dates for that, so if there's anyone listening right now and you want me to come out to your ministry, you can reach out to me and email me at info@MaddieRey, or reach out to me on social media. I would love to come out there and just share a dynamic performance with your young people and always preach the message that God has given me. But definitely expect a lot of music, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Listen,
Meesa, she said the Southwest, the Midwest, the West. Listen, Maddie Rey is coming everywhere. So listen, if you want her to come to your city, make sure you guys go book her ASAP.
2020 is amazing for Maddie Rey, and I'm so excited. Maddie, we cannot thank you enough for hanging out with us here on this week's show. But before you go, give everyone your socials so that they can follow you.
Absolutely. You can follow me on social media. My primary one is Instagram, official Maddie Rey. If you're on Facebook, official Maddie Rey. All of those different ways. Oh, I'm on TikTok now. I know that's buzzing, so I just got on there. You can follow me on TikTok if you want. I also am on YouTube. I put a lot of content out on there. That's official Maddie Rey. I also put my sermons and things like that. My podcast is Maddie Rey Ministries. You can find that on, I think, like your Apple podcast and Spotify podcast and all of that. My online merchandise is thedwellshop.com. So you can find all of my online merchandise. Have a lot of really cool clothing on there, along with my book, the Dwell book. So you can check that out on there. And I think that's all the different platforms that I have. But lastly, I would love to just encourage anyone that's watching. And I just want you to know that God has an amazing plan and purpose for your life. And I really encourage you to draw close to Jesus. I always tell people, if you want to know what you were created for, get to know your Creator. And I believe that there's someone listening right now. You're wondering what you were created to do, who you were created to be, and what the purpose is for your life. And I believe that if you really get to know Jesus and you really know how much He loves you, and you begin to really love Him, that He's going to reveal to you exactly who you were created to be. And sooner than later, you're going to wind up walking in that purpose and plan that He has for your life.
Listen, Mia, I think we had the absolute best, special guest as March Motivation on this show. Maddie Rey just fits perfectly. She wrapped it up so nicely and just put a bow on it. And Maddie, you are just definitely going to be inspiring such a generation that's going to just,
Amen.
Cause a wildfire just to spread all over the nation. And not only just the nation, but all over the world. But we are so excited about everything that you're doing in your career and the lives that you're impacting. Your girls here at M&M Live Radio are rooting for you, and we're cheering you on. But we'll talk to you soon, all right, my friend?
Thank you so much. God bless.
Same to you. Now, to all of our listeners out there, keep it where you got it, because you're about to hear music from Maddie right here, right now.
That's right. Here's Coming After You by Maddie Rey. Listen to this one, and we'll be right back. You're listening to, you already know,
It's M&M Live Radio.